Hello, everyone. Ted Laxonen, the Country Thinker here, back with another episode of The Eagle Has Crashed. This week, we move on to May of the year 2030. So let's just get right to the story. It was past midnight as Nate North loaded his last bag into the back of his pickup. Cassie stood in the driveway in a cotton nightgown with arms around herself tightly, shivering in the damp early May air. "Please don't go, honey," she said. "Dear, we've been through this over and over. I have to, and you know it. But at least don't take little Buck. I can't stand the thought of losing my husband and my only son. He's 22 and he's going to do what he wants. If I don't take him along, he'll probably go and do something crazy on his own. At least now I can keep an eye on him." Cassie sighed. "You know you're going to fail, right?" She knew Nate hadn't healed from the loss of Northfab. He had refused to even discuss it, and his repressed emotions had mutated into a raw hatred of the government. Nate's decision to lead an Ohio secession movement wasn't rational, and he admitted the odds were low that it would succeed. But he had convinced himself that there was no other choice, and he saw himself as an honorable freedom fighter. Cassie had had no success at convincing him he was going on a suicide mission. He walked in front of her and put his hands on his hips. "I tried voting, and that didn't change anything. I don't have enough money to run for Congress. I've tried writing my representatives, and they don't care. Almost everybody I talk to feels the same way. The system is broken and can't be fixed by ordinary means. We may only have a 5 or 10% chance, but that's 5 or 10% higher than the way things are right now." I know, honey. But are things really that bad?" "Yes, and you know it." Nate stepped forward and put his arms around his wife, and she buried her head in his chest. "It's all right, honey," he said, stroking her curly blonde hair. "I love you, and I'll be back in a few months. And remember, if anyone asks, I'm camping with some buddies." He released her and stepped back. "Now go inside before you catch a death." Cassie sniffled. "I really wish you hadn't said that." It was pitch black as Nate North and Herm Stanbaugh crept along the banks of the South Fork of the Licking River dressed in camouflage. The heavy-set North and the broad-shouldered farmer pushed their way through the thick foliage. The sound of trucks rumbled overhead on I-70 as they climbed up to the underside of the bridge. They scaled onto the inspection catwalk and crawled partway out over the river. Next, they removed their packs and took out bunches of explosives. They attached them to the underside of the bridge and strung a wire to a transmitter that they tied to one of the girders. Finished, they scaled back to the safety of the ground and scampered up along a sloping riverbank to the edge of the highway. They jogged down a grassy ditch and ducked down when vehicles approached. Once they were a half-mile away, they stopped and waited. "Well, the revolution is about to begin," Nate said. "Yup," Stanbaugh agreed, expressionless. The two waited until the bridge was clear of any vehicles. "Are you ready?" Nate asked. "Yup." North pulled a small switch out of his pocket. "No turning back now." He flipped the switch and the bridge exploded into a white fireball. A second later, the shockwave sent a breeze through the air and a deafening roar followed closely behind. They could hear debris crashing to the river, but were unable to see the damage through the smoke. "It sounded like a whole mess of the bridge went down in that blast," Stanbaugh said. "I think so. It'll take them months to get this interstate open again." He put the switch back into his pocket. "Well, I think we've done our job. If everyone else kept their nerve, every interstate in Ohio should have holes up and down them by the end of the night." Nate imagined the satisfaction he felt at that moment was like that of the great American revolutionaries like Paul Revere when they commenced their rebellion against England, and he smiled. He slapped Stanbaugh on the back. "All right, Herm, let's get out of here." "Yep." Caitlin Simpson and a friend sat across from each other in a booth inside a dimly lit Georgetown pub. They leaned across the table and whispered while their wine glasses went unattended. You had sex with the president? The friend asked. Simpson nodded with a big smile. Like the lay awake at night with your autographed picture of him kind of sex? Katie's friend queried. Or like the real do it kind? The real kind. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I so want to take you home right now. I'm not into girls, but I would do anything to have even secondhand sex with Chris Maynard. The allure of the handsome president had ensnared the heart of many an Ivy League girl. Simpson leaned back and smiled like she had won the lottery, while her friend continued to lean in. How many times? 9. Her friend leaned back and put a hand over her mouth. Oh my God. You have to be the luckiest girl in the history of the universe. At a round table near Simpson's booth, Mindy LeClaire sat upright in a chair and leaned back toward the conversation with her eyes closed. The American Now correspondent was in Washington for an interview with West Virginia Senator Stu Winters, and whenever she came to the Capitol, she hung out in pubs and trolled for story leads. LeClaire had gotten dozens of stories from intoxicated, loose-lipped bureaucrats, and at that moment, she was on the verge of netting a very large fish. She opened her eyes and stood up. LeClaire abandoned her beer and walked to Simpson's booth. Good evening, ladies. The young woman looked at LeClaire in horror. May I have a word with you, Miss Simpson? Katie Simpson. May I have a word with you, Katie? LeClaire looked to Simpson's friend. Alone. Katie's friend nodded and slunk out of the booth. LeClaire took a seat across from Simpson and removed a white canvas ball cap, letting her long brunette hair spill out. She set her hat on the table, and Simpson put a hand on her chest. Oh my God, you're Mindy LeClaire. LeClaire ran her hands through her hair. It's amazing how much anonymity I can get with something as simple as a hat. She folded her arms and leaned on the table. Katie, you have given me something very, very valuable. In return, I'd like to help you. Simpson did not respond. Give me an exclusive interview about your affair with the president. That will give you the chance to tell your story first, as you want it to be told. A tear rolled down Simpson's cheek. I'm giving you an opportunity, LeClaire continued, because otherwise I will break the story without you. Either way, every reporter from around the globe is going to be all over you. I can't believe this is happening. Neither can I. I just came here for a beer. She doesn't need to know I came here to eavesdrop. LeClaire leaned back and folded her hands in her lap. There's something else I can offer. Protection. Protection? Yes, if word reaches the White House that you haven't remained silent about your liaisons with the president, it's possible that something might happen to you. The president is a very powerful man, and he has security that takes care of threats to him. I can keep that from happening. Once it's front page news, that will be all the cover you will need. He wouldn't do that to me. No, and he doesn't have to. These things are taken care of for him. He probably would never know that the car accident that killed the cute little college girl he liked to screw wasn't so accidental. Simpson buried her face in her hands. Listen, Katie, I know you think I'm the devil right now, but please understand that I'm a journalist. It's my job to find stories like this. I'm not judging you. Let's face it, Chris Maynard is a handsome, charming, powerful man. I don't think I could resist him if he put the moves on me. Simpson wiped tears away with the back of her hand. Katie, most journalists would have cameras on the way right now. I want to handle it a different way. I will give you an exclusive 30-minute interview, and you'll get to tell your story your way. LeClaire pointed her finger. You will get to make your own first impression on the world. We can do the interview tomorrow and air it in a couple of days so we can advertise and make sure every man, woman, and child around the world listens to what Katie Simpson has to say. Plus, we'll put you up in a hotel with security until the interview airs. Simpson fidgeted with the stem of her wine glass. I'm really in deep trouble. Don't think of it that way. So you had sex, big deal. Most single girls your age did it as many times as you did over the same period. The difference is, well, you did it with the president. Simpson downed her wine and put the glass back on the table. She drummed the table with her fingers. Do you mind if I call my family's lawyer and ask her what I should do? I think that's an excellent idea. Four shadows appeared at the edge of Delaware Lake, about an hour north of Columbus, on a muggy, moonless night in mid-May. The two men and two women disrobed and waded into the murky water. Once they were in the lake up to chest level, they formed a circle and joined hands. They submerged 3 times, released their grips, and returned to shore. One of the women retrieved a blanket from a small pack and spread it out beneath an enormous white oak. The 4 sat down in a circle, naked. The Industrial Revolution is near its end, one of the women began. Nations are failing. Economies are collapsing. Chaos is spreading. Amen to that, one of the men said. The failure of cruel and immoral civilization was inevitable, the woman continued. You can only shun Mother Earth for so long before she brings her wrath upon the evil masses. Soon, violence will cover every corner of the planet, and we will rid ourselves of billions of human rats. Let's hope so, said the other man. Once all of the nations on Earth have fallen, mankind will have no choice but to acknowledge that the true place of humanity is at Mother Earth's side, not as her enemy. No more will humans harbor the abominable conceit that humans are superior to other creatures. No more will industry harm our mother. No human being is more important than a whale or a fish or a tree, and those who do not see it yet soon will. In the new era of humanity, people will revere and respect our mother, as all efforts to tame her failed. We are on the edge of a great transformative period when destructive industrialism and agriculture will end, and peaceful coexistence with nature will begin. What do we have to do to make sure it happens as you have foreseen? The first man asked. Mother Earth has sent us angels who are helping us. Who? The secessionists. What? They're a bunch of stupid rednecks. Our mother works in mysterious ways, but consider what they are doing. They are trying to bring commerce to a halt to deprive the government of tax revenues. They are trying to cause businesses and the government to collapse. Is that not what we desire as well? Well, yeah, but then what? It'll just be the same cruel industrialism under another flag. That's not progress. But if they succeed, there will be a lot of anger toward them for the trouble that they caused. We will be the peaceful alternative and will be the only ones to offer a new way forward. This is our great chance. So what should we do? Whatever the secessionists do, just more of it. You mean like bombing out bridges and that sort of thing? Absolutely. No one will know that we are the ones doing much of it. We will be the secessionist shadow army, only better. They seem like a ragtag bunch of misfits. We have been organized for years and outnumber them many times over. This is a glorious opportunity that Mother Earth has given us. We can finally wage our war against industry and commerce, except that no one will suspect it was us. Wow, I guess this is a great opportunity. Indeed, it is. Are all of you with me? Yes. Good. The 4 joined hands once more. Now let us pray. Mother Earth, creator and giver of life, we thank you for all your blessings. Together we shall take up the sword in your name to destroy your enemies, industry, commerce, and agriculture. Our cause is pure and our success is certain. No more will mankind walk upon you and harbor the arrogant belief that he is your master. Mankind is your servant, and because we have hearts and minds equipped with reason, we have a duty to serve you in ways that other creatures cannot. We are your servants, Mother. Our hearts are pure. Okay, that ends episode 31 of The Eagle Has Crashed, and next week we'll get back to May of 2030 and wrap that up. So I hope everyone's enjoying the story. Well, enjoying isn't necessarily the right word, but I hope everyone, yes, is entertained and interested by it anyhow. So, by all means, if you would like to purchase the book, you can get it from clearpeakpress.com, from Amazon, Barnes& Noble, Smashwords, from the iTunes store, from the Sony store, and other retailers. So, have a good week, and we'll get back to the story next Sunday.